Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about the quadratic formula and discriminant. So in the previous videos we've talked about solving by factoring. So let's just take an example, like 3x squared plus 4x minus 4. Just to refresh our memory, when we factor, we're going to start off by labeling A, B, and C. Then we set two numbers that multiply to give us a times c, which is 3 times negative 4. That's going to give us negative 12. And then we're going to give the same two numbers that add up to our b value, which is 4. Okay, so two numbers that multiply to give us negative 12 and the same two numbers that give us positive 4. That's going to be 6 and negative 2. Okay, perfect. Now that we have this, we can set our factors in parentheses. So x minus 6 times x plus 6 times x minus 2. Now, we're not done yet because we have a leading coefficient here. When we have a leading coefficient, we have to remember to divide both factors by that leading coefficient. So for the first one, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that's pretty simple, x plus 2. But for the other one, we can't have fractions. So we're going to do something called bottoms up, which we learned in the Lizzie method. So the 3 comes right next to the x, and then the 2 stays where it is. So these are our factors. And now if we were asked to solve, we would just set each parentheses equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. And in this case, x would equal negative 2. And if we said 3x minus 2 equal to 0, we would get x equals 2 over 3. Yeah. So these are our two solutions. So this is how you would solve by factoring. But in this video, we're going to be talking about something called the quadratic formula. And I'm going to write it right here. So the quadratic formula is x equals, so solutions to x equal negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. And you can use this when you have a normal like quadratic equation, the standard quadratic equation. So let's take a look at some examples. So let's say we have, I'm going to bring this formula down right here. Okay, so let's say we had the problem 5x squared minus 6x minus 10. And let's say make this minus 2. So when we have something like this and we're told to solve, so solve for x. We're going to start off by making sure everything's on one side. We want to set this whole equation to 0. So we're going to add plus 2 to both sides, plus 2, and get 5x squared minus 6x minus 8 equals 0. Once we have this, we can go on and label our values. So A, B, C. So our A value is going to be 5, our B value is negative 6, our C value is negative 8. Now we can plug all these values into our quadratic formula right here. So we have x equals negative times negative 6 plus or minus square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 8 all over 2 times our a value, which is 5. And we can simplify this. So we know that negative times negative is positive. So we have 6 here. So this becomes 6 plus or minus. And then negative 6 squared, that's just going to give us negative 6 times negative 6, which is positive 36. And then we're going to have negative 4 times 5, which is negative 20. And then negative 20 times negative 8, that's going to give us positive 160. And then 2 times 5, that gives us 10. We can go ahead and simplify even further. So 36 plus 160, that gives us 196. So I'm just going to erase this and write 196. And then once we're here, we can take the square root of 196. And the square root of 196 it's a perfect square, so it's 14. So x equals 6 plus or minus 14 all over 10. So let's go ahead and split this up, the plus and minus up. So we have x equals 6 plus 14 all over 10, and we have x equals 6 minus 14 all over 10. So in this case, we would have 20 over 10, which is nothing but 2. X equals 2. Over here, for the subtraction, we have x equals negative 8 over 10, which is simplified to negative 4 over 5. So in this case, x equals negative 4 over 5, comma, 2. So that's how you would solve for x using the quadratic formula. And you would usually use this when you can't find factors like two numbers. And I think if you don't remember anything or how to do factoring, Lizzie method, completing the square, I would say this is the way to go. Now to find the discriminant. So the formula for the discriminant is d for discriminant equals b squared minus 4ac. And something that's important to remember is if the discriminant, the value you get is greater than 0, then you have two real solutions. If d is equal to 0, then you have one real solution. And if d is less than 0, you have no real solutions. So let's look at an example. So let's say we have our same problem here, or we could do a new one. So let's say we have 7x squared plus 4x minus 3. Remember, our discriminant formula is d equals b squared minus 4 times a times c. So we're going to start off by labeling a, b, c. So our a value is 7, our b value is 4, and our c value is negative 3. So b squared, so 4 squared minus 4 times 7 times negative 3. So 4 squared, it's 16, Negative 4 times 7 is negative 28, and then negative 28 times negative 3 is positive 84. So 16 plus 84, that is 100. So our discriminant equals 100. And 100 is greater than 0. So since it's greater than 0, we have two real solutions. So this particular quadratic has two real solutions, or two x-intercepts. So we have two real solutions.